Hello. Welcome to the program. We'll get started here in just a moment. We have 8 locations that are coming on board, and as each one goes live, then we'll be able to start the program. Today on the program, we'll be discussing wonderful things, including Fame.io, which I want to talk to you about leverage trading a bit on the program, as well as some of the other aspects that are involved in cryptocurrency. All right, let's kick on.
He did his part. He was a true lover, working without the expectations of others. When he realized it was time to go to war on behalf of the PULSECHAIN army, he rounded up his friends. He shared the wealth. He drove in style, ready to serve his friends. And together they went on to march and march and march for the advancement of decentralized finance. And with the power of numbers multiplying in their multitudes, Metcalfe's law was fully in effect. And that is the spirit of bear on PulseChain. Let's go.
So, I mean, to bet on things in crypto being valueless is a fool's bet, because the silliest things maintain value.
They say, if you don't want to age, be a lover.
Oh, optimum mode, ready to go.
There is
so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
All right, welcome to the program, everybody. It's great to have you here. It is October 17th. Time now, it's 5:05 p.m. This is Live at 5. I'm your Happy Healer, Keith. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. So tonight, as it is an actual evening, although the sun is bright, it's in my face. We're here. We're having a great time. And today is an awesome day. It's just a wonderful start of the week. It looks like Bitcoin is on the rise, so that's always good. We have some bad news, of course, going on in the Middle East, which is always, a tricky subject. There's blame that is palpable everywhere, and we talk about that, and it's one of those sore subjects, of course. It is part of what makes me your Happy Healer. I'm so dedicated on answers to resolve human issues. I'm so content with being that person in my life, given all of that I've seen. And I'm humble when it comes to casting blame or just finding a way forward that is honest. We all deserve that, you know? And so that's what I'm constantly looking for. Tonight, I want to talk about the fundamentals of leverage in cryptocurrency and some variances in it. Leverage in the realm of cryptocurrency is the act of using borrowed capital to potentially magnify your trading. Imagine this with 10x leverage. A trader can wield the position 10 times their original capital. It's a tool that promises increased profits, but it comes with a duality of amplified losses as well. This can subsequently introduce heightened volatility in the crypto markets. The impact of leverage on aspects of asset dynamics and the dance of volatility, it can sway the market into intense price oscillations. By wielding leverage, traders are magnifying their buying or selling actions, and this power can lead to swift, sometimes erratic price shifts in both bullish and in bearish directions. The domino effect of liquidations, then the venturing into the world of leverage isn't without its pitfalls. Take a trader using 10x leverage as an example. Should the assets plummet just by 10%, their entire position may face liquidation. This rapid sell-off, especially when happening en masse, can propel sharp, cascading price declines. The magnet for short-term speculators, leverage, especially when offered at high levels, might seem alluring for those looking for quick profits. It can skew the market towards short-term speculators rather than long-term believers and investors. The result? Asset prices that are hypersensitive to fleeting news and sentiments often overshadow core fundamentals. The brewing storm of bubbles and crashes. Leverage can fan the flame of asset bubbles. Enthusiastic traders bolstered by borrowed capital might aggressively speculate on soaring prices, but the pendulum can swing both ways. A reversal in sentiment can trigger Jurassic sell-offs, with the aftermath being more catastrophic than a non-leveraged scenario. The watchful eye of regulation. High-stakes trading via leverage doesn't go unnoticed. Given its capacity to intensify market volatility and inherent risks posed to retail investors, these regulators like to step in, and this regulatory oversight for investor protection can shape this crypto asset realm. Yet it's not all gloom and doom. The liquidity boost is an extra benefit, and it's an overlooked benefit. It's to pour liquidity into the markets. With equivalent capital, traders can command larger positions, fostering more efficient price discovery in the process. The call to professional traders to come on board. The siren song of leverage is not new. Traditional financial markets have romanced it for ages. Its availability in the crypto domain can beckon professional traders and institutional bigwigs, offering the market a sheen of legitimacy. Pioneering innovations. The clamor for leverage is groundbreaking strides in crypto. Decentralized Finance, for instance, now boasts platforms that lets users lend and borrow seamlessly. To wrap up this segment, while leverage holds the power to supercharge risk and extend volatility, it has many factors that shapes a cryptocurrency's journey. As the world of cryptocurrency evolves, it's paramount to tread with care, always in tune to the nuances of leverage, the quagmire of over-leverage, liquidation cascades, the silent threats. When the market's heavily tilted towards long positions, it's akin to a house of cards. A modest dip in prices can unleash a torrent of liquidations. As long positions get liquidated, assets undergo forced sales. And when this happens in mass, the market faces sharp downturns, echoes of over-optimism. Marking teaming with long positions might be harboring over-optimism, or worse, a bubble-like condition. Such a scenario may paint a rosy short-term picture, but it sets the stage for these steep corrections. The shadows of price manipulation are there as well. Highly leveraged markets can sometimes fall prey to the whims of whale investors with coordinated entities. With enough clout, they can engineer minor price dips, fully aware that this could trigger a domino effect of liquidations, culminating in substantial price drops. For stagnation, the overlooked outcome, in a scenario where a lion's share of participants are over-leveraged, the market can inch towards stagnation. Traders wary of further exposure might hold back from new positions. This leads to reduced volatility in trading volumes and setting the stage for a fragile market, very capable of moving to minor movements. Leverage move offers a lot of different stark warnings. While it can pave the way for higher returns, the accompanying risk can't be understated either. The crypto dance with leverage is intricate, swayed by sentiment, regulatory winds, and other events. As we delve deeper into the world of cryptocurrencies on Live at 5, always remember that knowledge and caution are your best allies. It's important to remember that. And so on this program, we will be discussing the effects of this kind of leverage trading. Richard Hart, as we know, he talks about staying away from ladies, liquor, and leverage, and you will be just fine. That is ringing true in the Happy Healer's mind, because as we've noticed today, and what I'll do is put you the screen here in a moment so that you could see what I am seeing. What you're looking at here are the leverage positions on Fame.io, PulseChain's exclusive area for leverage trading. And now, if you're not familiar, I also cover the drama on PulseChain, the people that makes PulseChain what it is, because my view of cryptocurrency is exactly that. It is a people business. It is a people setup. So what we see here are in green the long positions, and in red these are the short positions. In the long positions, most PulseChains and hexagons who make up the actual lion's share of users on PulseChain believe in PulseChain's success. So you could see the abundant amount of these leveraged positions that are currently open on Fame.io. Now, I asked Dylan to come on to the program, or I asked Famous to come on to the program, and I haven't heard back from them, although maybe in the future we can get them to actually come on the program. I have some wonderful questions for them, kind of skidding on exactly what we were speaking about just a moment ago. For example, today we noticed on Ethereum that it was moving fast. We had price movement of 15% in the positive for Hex on Ethereum. Whereas, let's pull up here also. I'll put you back on there. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right now we have Bitcoin at 28,503, which is very good. It's at the top end of where it has been trading. But let's also, if we could, pull up the DEX trader and see how we're doing on our lovely Pulse chain. And what we'll do is pull up Hex. And right now Hex is trading on Pulse chain. Right now it's 0.02% down in the last 5 hour, and then in the last 6 hours it's 2.75% down. And for the day it's only 0.32% up. Now what that actually tells us is, if we look here at Ethereum Hex, it's doing 10% up right now. Now I had a little dip, of course, and it'll probably rise from there. Now there could be several things going on here. We could be having, as the bull market starts to step into effect, we could be having an effect where these two assets begin to start to equalize. That's totally possible as more liquidity starts pouring into the system. But also it could be this dynamic where we have leverage trading on one side of this, but we do not on the other. And on Ethereum, there is no leverage trading. So they don't offer that, at least as so far as I could see, on fame.io. So what does that mean? Maybe that's going to present a dynamic where either we are seeing a temporary fluctuation where Hex and on Ethereum and on Pulse Chain will eventually even out, or it could be that because Hex on Pulse Chain is over leveraged in the long positions, and that the short positions do not make up the majority of those leveraged positions, that indeed that's having some effect on the overall outcome of the day's market activity. And we could see here it's only become even more pronounced. If you take a look, we have short positions in the amount of $231,000, where we have long positions in the amount of $1.165 million, and a total for just today of 1.4 million. And this is huge because, and in fact, if you notice, people are getting more bullish than they have been in the last couple of days. But in general, most of the energy has been going for the long positions. So one thing that I'll be watching out for on Pulse Chain, and one thing that I would love to ask Buck or Dylan, is what plan do they have in place in order to minimize these concerns I talked about on the top of the program, i.e. this greed effect, where we are in the human business. Once again, that's what cryptocurrency is, and we are doing our best to grow and thrive, but then these market manipulators step into the process and into the spotlight, and the next thing we know, we're having huge runs on Bitcoin. Ethereum's moving, everything's moving, but Pulse Chain is being stagnated by this protocol. That can happen, so I do want to ask that specifically. What is being done in order to minimize any of those kinds of risk, or do they see any kind of risk in that way? So these are good questions that I haven't really heard them talk about before. Other than that, I think that if you look back on this once again here, let me take you back over. There are various metrics here that you could see, and each one of these are all going to tell you the positions that traders are getting into. And like, if you do use this, make sure you get into fame.io and get on these analytics and take a look at what this means, because you don't want to be blind to this stuff and be putting your money in leveraged positions. Because if you're, here's the bottom line, Hex, Pulse Chain, they're great. You're going to have no problem if you're just holding your coins, hodling like a hodler should. Over time, whatever kinds of manipulation that is there, typically gets out of the way and the market moves in the direction that it was intended. Most of this is short-term considerations. Also, it does bring a lot of new capital into the system as well. It's not just, it provides very good opportunities in crypto. The fundamentals of leverage in crypto, by the way, are something that is not brand new. People have lost their entire bags. I would never recommend using more than maybe 5% of your bag if you wanted to even use that much. Even 1%. I mean, this could be something that turns out very detrimental for you if it goes bad. So you don't want to be in that world of dance of volatility with all of your money stacked up in these kinds of trades. The domino effects of liquidations can take place, and they will surely send you into another realm mentally. You want to keep yourself psychologically in charge when you're on the market. You don't want that being in the way. Of course, this is all HappyHealer advice. This is not financial advice in the traditional sense. It's all of my own opinions. I'm also going to check here to see if there's anybody that's got any questions. Make sure you feel free to ask those. I am getting into that section now so I could see anything here. Welcome, by the way. Time now is 5:22. It's funny how quickly time moves. It's like the beginning of every program is always super fast, and then I like to, slow down and just have a conversation and talk about, what's important for the day and what kinds of things I've been noticing on the market, because I do pay attention a lot. This is really important to all of our futures to get things right. So, we are on 8 different locations on social media. I have a following that is all over the internet. Before this, I was in politics, and not necessarily, I'm not a political person, just wanting to do great things for people. That's my motivation, and as the HappyHealer, I felt that might have been a realm for me to be in, and who knows, it might yet be. I don't know what the future holds no more than anybody else. I do know that I care and I want to see a better future, so those are the things that I involve myself in. And right now I'm focused on what we're doing here, building PulseChain. I think PulseChain has so much potential for the future and to help people really get a handle on their lives financially. And then, of course, once you fix the money problem, you have a much better ability to fix other problems. So that's the goal. And a lot of people in the community talk about that exactly. In a moment, I'm going to speak freely on some of the different things that I've noticed going on in the community as well. It's not one of those, I don't like drama. I like progress, but sometimes the community is drawn to drama and you have to sort of talk about it. So I certainly won't run from drama. I'm not going to run from people who are trying to intimidate lovers that are out to do good work or pervert their work. Rather, I'll do my best to cast a light of love on the situation and clarity and truth and find what matters. I love my friends, although they judge. People are very judgmental. They'll quickly put you into this box or that box, and that's how they'll kind of see it in their own life. That doesn't affect me. I stay on my path. I know when I'm doing right, and I stay doing right. I love all. I speak my mind clearly. I'm looking for positive results for all people in an honest way. When I see people that are swayed, I usually look a little bit closer because I could sense there could be some greed there. Okay. So getting back to comments, if you have any comments, do leave them. I'll be watching for those periodically so I can answer any questions that you have. And let's get back onto this. But just once again, before I move forward here, let me change the camera view. Yeah, if you view it on, if you're viewing on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or the many, I have in total, there's 8 places. And in my audience, between all of those places, there's about 30,000 people that have subscribed over the years of me doing media. And I think that's important because I haven't really spoke about that before on any of the programs. And a lot of those people come in, they see what this is about. We've onboarded so many new people into the PulseChain community, which is what this is first and foremost. I'm bringing people into a family. And so one thing that I urge current PulseChain community members to remember is that we are a family. That ultimately I am bringing people here that want to be a part of that family and learn about cryptocurrency and be able to have the financial freedom that comes with traversing the human love value consensus network that PulseChain is, doing decentralized finance in the right way. That's what we teach about. And I say be very humble about that and don't allow the drama that we witness all the time on Lion, and I notice it a lot on Twitter and in the community. It happens quite a bit. Try to stay focused on the constructive things. You know, it reminds me of Jamie, one of the first projects that we've had on board. This is a developer who is focused on building. And that's what we're about, not the drama. Now, going back on fame.io, which is an interesting protocol, and I would like to do a deep dive on that protocol and have the developers of that protocol here. However, I don't think that they've learned to fully appreciate the goodness that they could achieve on this program. Nor has a lot of people, because they don't see me as a big presence in the community. So it becomes a matter of judgment. But that's the wrong judgment. I'm focused on bringing people from outside of the community to the inside. And as so far as the inside of the community goes, I could spend my time in all of these endless chat places, and I do go and I listen because I want to be aware. And it's part of anybody who wants to be astute on PulseChain to be aware of what's happening in the communities, to be present in these various spaces that's happening on Twitter and in Telegram, and that is important. However, I have heard it from the people directly, the ones that are building, and they talk about why they're there. And they're making friends, which is commendable, and that's a big goal for anybody who's part of a community. But when it starts to blur the line is why they're making friends. Is it because they value the community so much, like the people that are becoming friends with them? Or is it so that once they're friends, they can leverage their friendships for profit? It's really important to do crypto right. Not to just talk about that, but to encapsulate what it means and to be honest about that. Decentralized finance has a lot more in common with unconditional love than it does with greed and making friends so that later you can leverage those relationships. That's not something I would do myself. And wanting to be productive, when I spend my time with the communities, I am very respectful. I would hope that gets appreciated. That I take my time to deal with people. I don't just mow over people, even when I'm passionate, and I'm a very passionate person. I'm ready to roll. And yet you have to be respectful and give other people a chance to talk, raise your hand. Sometimes that's not respected in these communities, and that's unfortunate when that happens. And what I notice when I hear other, some of these project leaders speaking, it really is about leveraging these friendships. And I just want to remind you guys that be a community first. Care truly. I love one of these new projects that are coming out that I know Corey is big in, and that's going to be one of these actually projects that I'm looking at a bit closer in the future on. But it's mostly around music, and I think that's a wonderful thing because that's in a realm of humanity. Art is beautiful. And so I would remind you, think of ways to use your passions in the community, because that'll remind you to stay close to your heart. Passion is a derivative of heart, and when we do our passions, we're doing the right things we care about. And people, they're worth being passionate about. That's how we make true progress. That's how we onboard new people. Look out for the old ones. Thinking back on B-Roots and what happened recently with all the infighting regarding the drama behind the scenes, Dylan and Buck and Famous and these protocols. Oh, leverage trading is bad. People are getting hurt. And aside from that, what, why are you guys like having these secret conversations where you're leveraging your friendships? I'm just going to remind you that everybody is sort of doing the same thing in greed hell. It's not just one set of people. To single them out is disingenuous, really. I also asked the Moon Man himself to come on the program, and I reach out to pretty much the people that I'm focused on myself. I give them my energy out of genuine interest and care, and it's hard to get the same thing back. And I say, check into your heart and make sure that the reason why you're doing things is for the genuine cause. And when I start having questions around that, for example, I heard, Mr. Brutes, if you're watching, I would challenge you, sir, on specifically, you talk about your interest in making money this bull run. The next bull run, you're out of here. This is it. Why? Some of us are here because we believed in a superiority of cryptocurrency and of the human value consensus network and what we can build in the world, of change that we can have. Are you planning on at some point fiat currency to be better than cryptocurrency? I want you to think about that. What motivation do you have to be here? We're building Metcalfe's Law through the very goodness of what cryptocurrency is. And yes, you can build huge, tremendous financial success. And it looks like right now, folks, let me tell you something. Get excited because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency looks like it's getting ready to send. And this is not financial advice. This is my own opinion. Most people would have said that at the top of the program. It's 34 minutes in, and here I am showing you excitement about the possible moves that these cryptocurrencies can, yes, indeed, make. Even though we expected it to move on PulseChain and PulseX and Hex, it only moved on Hex on Ethereum because, well, in my opinion, I think that the Fame.io, which I did an experiment on earlier as well, and yeah, it's very easy to get liquidated on these protocols. And where does that money go to? What good are you doing for this chain? Why don't you come on the program and answer those things? And I'm fair. I want to alleviate the nonsense in the system. It's disingenuous to say that Dylan or Buck are more greedy than the Moon Man, or that they're doing something that is more manipulative behind the scenes. When I see manipulation and greed all over in this world. And it's got to go. Yeah, human value is the thing that gets negated when we see that. So remember that. And I notice on the various channels here that we have some comments that are going out for the Join the Ape movement. I got to pull those off. That must have been from a long time ago. So ignore that. There is no ape movement here, except we're aping into PulseChain for our futures, of course. So that's one thing we're doing, aping into our futures for PulseChain. I am very excited about it. So I would like to see, honestly, I think Dylan and Buck are doing a good thing as far as having this protocol there, because more options in order to bring in typical financial products that investors are used to, that will help onboard more professional investors and more community members on PulseChain, providing more liquidity, more trading, more progress, are all things that I like to see. I also like to see people getting along, working for the right reasons and for the advancement of us all. If I were to talk to brutes, what I would like to ask about is, how does this law of meme coins, how is it going to work in terms of Metcalfe's law? When not just you now, but an army of people just like you are all dumping on coins without really knowing the exact future. Just yesterday, after Mega, a project that I like and that I'm in and that I appreciate what they're doing. In fact, I'm talking to the project now about possibly being on the show. When they were first featured on Crypto Kings, I noticed that the typical rally came followed by a sell-off, and the sell-off is always tremendous when people have that idea of they need to sell before the next guy. It really stokes a lot of fear. I don't think it's a good idea for our community members who are focused on growth to be so intent on wanting to sell before the next guy for the kinds of damage that it brings in. Why not? These are all coins that we're holding through the bull market. These are, if we believe in them, at least as I do, these are at the bottom levels. Then it wouldn't really be that bad of a thing if you held on to the coin. In fact, if all you could do was hold on to the coin or the crypto or the currency, the fiat that represents that coin, and you could only hold on to one for the next year, then surely you would want to hold on to the coin, right? So why the sell-off then? Is it because we want to capture the money that's coming in fresh? Like, that's mine? It just feels greedy. And if we have new people coming in, bringing money in, and we're looking to enact Metcalfe's law, wouldn't it be better to allow these green candles to add up? Ask yourself these questions, Mr. Brutes. That was for you. And if I can have you on the program, I'm certainly going to ask you those in person, because this is something that has, I've noticed for a while, that's been holding back the system, in my opinion. Not just that, but the drama. People want to see us working together on PulseChain for a better future. And that, I'll tell you what, folks, this is that place, really. Especially, you've got very smart people. I'm being, quite meticulous in terms of the few problems that I witness in an overall system where I exist. Why? Because it is the best out there. It is where the most opportunity exists in cryptocurrency, in my opinion. Now, of course, all of cryptocurrency has great opportunities. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm open to always learning. But of course, once you get involved in a community, you want to be loyal to that community. That's part of being a good family member. And that's one of the things that I talk about. So it really is exciting. Cryptocurrency is super exciting because you're gaining a family. And if you do it right, you'll take that very seriously. I've gained some awesome and amazing friends through the process, and I'll continue to gain friends as this process continues on. Yeah, we cover the builders. We like to showcase what they're doing. What they're doing is building the future of PulseChain, and that is where everything new is going to be happening, where the new opportunities will exist, and the new investing opportunities as well, making friends. And most of the making friends and getting involved in the community aspect part on PulseChain is happening on Twitter and in Telegram, so be aware of that. Make sure you have both of those if you're new to the ecosystem. And also you have my Twitter. Make sure you follow HappyHealer USA and HappyHealer Love on Twitter, as well as on other social media. I go by those handles often. And it'd be great to know you, so say hi to me for sure. Don't be a stranger. I want to hear you guys and hear you out. My name is Keith, and my spiritual name is HappyHealer, and I really enjoy that name because it says so much about who I am and what's important to me. So that's not to be a silly name or anything like that. That means a lot. It is the result of a very deep spiritual journey that I've taken, and I'll share more of that journey with this family as time goes on and as it's appropriate. But there is a story there, and I do want to share it, and it is important. So consider all of that. EHEX right now, just to kind of move things along here and talk about some of the other happenings on PulseChain. Maybe on Friday's program, because we air Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. sharp, and that's going to happen every time. I want you to get used to that. 5 p.m. This will be live, whether rain or shine, ready or not. We're going live. And so you can get used to that and recognize that whatever's been going on, I'll be there to discuss those things with you. You can ask questions. I will either be able to answer those questions right on the fly, or I'll find answers. Onboarding new people, that's going to be a big thing because that's what the community is working on. It's very important. It's constantly what our meetings are about when we are talking. It is about onboarding new people, and that's also another personal goal of mine, to be more involved in those community discussions with the meetings that are happening, not just the outreach. Because what happens is I do all this outreaching, and all of a sudden I have brand new people that come into the community, but then the community itself disrespects me. And the new people that I bring see that. And so recognize where we fall short, my friends, especially in the community. Be more humble. Recognize we're all working together to build something special here, and that if we make it harder on ourselves, that's exactly the kind of stuff we do. But we do have wonderful people on the community, inside of this community, long-term people. There are some gatekeeping issues. I want to see that stuff resolved. We have, I think there's a lot of fear in general in this world. I don't let it bother me. People wonder, what is your deal, man? How do you keep moving on and you don't let things bother you and you seem indifferent? That's because I am indifferent to these things, to the crap, to the nonsense that shouldn't matter, doesn't matter. And for the things that do matter, it matters tremendously to me. And that's what a lover does. That's what I want to see you do. And get excited about what the community can really be. Don't look at just what it is now. Help form and fashion the community on what it should be. It should be this wonderful, vibrant place of abundance where we are working together to build something better always. And that's what I see the Mega Project doing. They're onboarding new people from the Ethereum community, which is really outstanding. We've actually had on Chill Tank today, which is also hosted by Brutes with Crypto Kings and Ian. And I'll mention these names as we go because it's important to be familiar with these community characters. And these are part of our family. And if they're looking at it right, they'll see it the same way. Meaning that makes it possible to be able to talk about whatever's important, whatever's going on, whatever we should be talking about, and being passionate about those things. So I was watching Mega on that program. Oh, and he goes by Mega Man. So if you want to know that name. That's the founder over at Mega, and they seem to have a pretty motivated team. Oh, by the way, eHex right now just made a move a little bit. I'll go ahead and show you that live into the moment here. And that latest candle that we see right here represents the first candle that's come in since it started dropping. So that's good. Let's take a look while we are at it at Hex here. And it's also moving, which is really good. And in my experiment earlier, this was the liquidation line where I noticed a lot of, if at the time I started doing this test, that's where the liquidation line would have been. Had you done 15x leverage in your trade, and apparently it reached that, and now it's pumping up. Maybe it had to reach that, and it seemed like to me, if you look at trading here now, and this is the kind of stuff I'm going to look at and I'm going to be transparent about, it seemed like there was, some hold off on trading, and then all of a suddenly this big sell, and until it got below that line, then now it's sort of free to take off, which, okay, that's fine. That seems a bit manipulative to me, and that's what I'm going to look at, stuff like that. Now, I'll tell you what, this community and the opportunities that exist around here, they are pure gem, my friends. I'm just such an honest guy, and I'm going to tell you about every little thing I notice in full transparency. PulseChain is a decentralized finance, so we're going to get it right, and we're going to point things out, and we're going to talk to the community because it really is important to this community to get decentralized finance correct. And Richard Hart, who is the founder of Hex, who started PulseChain, cares so much about decentralized finance. And I've studied Richard Hart for a very long time. And on this program, he's also going to be somebody who we draw upon for a lot of our wisdom. I follow his teachings, and everything that he talks about meshes very well with the HappyHealer ethos. And for those of you, you know me very well, you know what the HappyHealer ethos is all about. And it's hard work and discipline and dedication, love and honesty, and all of those institute well with the idea of decentralized finance. That I like. I like that a lot. So, take a look here. We're at 76.07, finally getting some movement. It's still just showing kind of even for the day. Let's take a look and see how the Bitcoin is doing. Let's see what the Bitcoin is doing, my friends. Okay. So it's still stagnant around 28.5. And it looks like it's going to break through that at some point, and we'll see how everything comes together once that does happen. If it happens. I think it's going to happen pretty soon. So time now is 10 minutes till 6 on a program here. And what I'll probably go ahead and end it shortly here. Let's see if we have any questions or anything else. I don't like too much dry time. I like to keep things moving and then shut it down because I really value your time so much. We're building community. That's where we should be. That's where I should be. I'm doing the same thing, and I have my life I live too. I come here as a testament to my love and care for you and building something special, doing my part. This is what we should all be doing, not expecting, the sweat on someone else's back to carry our bags, but rather us doing our own work. Okay, my friends, I think we're going to end it there on Thursday. No, I'm sorry, Friday, when we're back. I will share. I'll have a wonderful program for you, of course. We'll cover all the happenings between now and Friday. We're still looking to break out on Bitcoin. We did have yesterday a fake out where Bitcoin jumped up and then came back down again, which was awesome for people because it gave us that extra feel like, oh my God, okay, so as soon as we get this kind of news, now we know what's going to happen. Things are going to go parabolic. And it's really exciting, at least to those of us who are in it. And if you're on the outside looking in, get used to some of these things that I'm saying. And consider PulseChain. It is a vibrant community that's growing. You want to go somewhere where it's growing in the cryptocurrency realm, because that is what cryptocurrency is compared to stocks. Stocks, if you look at like Warren Buffett, right? Hang on just a moment. If you look at Warren Buffett talks about when he buys stocks, he's buying interest in companies. When in cryptocurrency, I think of it as sort of the same way. When you're buying a cryptocurrency, you're buying interest in a community. And when you do, look at a community that's fired up. Now, there are no such thing as perfect people. Although one thing is for sure, love done unconditionally is perfect. And so look for communities that share in selfless, loving ways. And if they're doing decentralization correct in cryptocurrency, and they're not expecting, for example, profits from the works of others, and they're putting effort into everything they do, that's a really good sign, and that's everything that PulseChain is about. So I'm going to leave it there and promise you that on Friday we'll have a stunning and great program for you. Now, we might have a couple of projects that I'm looking at that I'm very interested in. Is Hex Diamond, Mega, of course, and I'm talking to the founders over there. Of course, we've got this thing going on with Famous, and we're covering Fame.io, doing more of a deep dive in on that protocol. Very interested. And it has other aspects around there too, like Fux. That's PHUX, not to be confused with anything else. And that is a protocol that helps fund and loan coins out to Fame.io, which then does this leverage trading. If you were to compare that with the stock market, it would be similar to what you would see in the derivatives market, more like options trading, where you get 100 contracts for or 100 shares for a contract, and that essentially is 100 times the leverage. Well, here it's 30 times the leverage, except for there's not an expiration on it. Instead, you pay for an interest rate for as long as you're borrowing the money. And anyways, we'll get more into that. We'll have a deep dive, and hopefully we'll get Buck or Dylan or one of these guys on the program that we can talk to about this. And then because we cover the community as well, hopefully we can talk about and resolve some of these things going on. Greed is ugly. We are all family. We are building all of these. And I respect builders. I sent the message to these guys. I said, I respect builders. I appreciate what everybody is doing when they're building. And, Brutes and Ian are also builders. They're content creators, and they do shill tank, and they don't have their own cryptocurrency coin, which is probably good considering that they're doing a lot of shilling for coins and stuff. And I like that they're in the community. I just want to see friendship, love, and honest voices speaking about real issues, real people, real concerns, real objectives, love, of course, love, and that we're winning together, always. And we're inclusive. That's in, Gary Wood talks about that a lot. And that we continue to see Metcalfe's law on PulseChain. We have seen it already, unlike many chains which have been dead, including Ethereum, even though that's where all the liquidity is. PulseChain has been a vibrant place and growing. So don't count it out. We do have Richard Hart, who is currently being looked at by the SEC, and he has a good case because he does crypto right, and he is a lover, and that love is unconditional in nature. And so I appreciate the fact that we'll probably beat this. I believe that based on everything I know, and I'm a pretty smart guy, so I think that that's a fair bet, and that only adds more value to this chain, because the opportunity that exists here is going to explode once that black cloud is over, gone as well. And I don't think it's going to do much holding back anyway. This is about, cryptocurrency is about the community, and the community is strong. So that was what I wanted to cover on the program. We talked about cryptocurrency being a people, whereas on the stock market, it's about companies. People are lovers. Companies are more prone to greed, even though people are prone to greed as well. I am somebody who believes in people, and so this is where I belong. And somebody who believes in community, and I think you do too. So I welcome you to join us on PulseChain, and I can bring you to other members within our community and myself. I teach on this channel on how to be successful in cryptocurrency and how to meld well in our community. That's why it's important to know the various things going on. And I encourage the participants to work well together. So, B Roots and Ian and Dylan and all the rest of them, let's get along and let's build and let's do something special for this bull market and show everybody out there that we are family and that we have the best to look forward to and that they're welcome on board. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Friday here at live at 5. Time now is 6 p.m. We'll see you soon.